and welcome back. I am Mrs. Lamondo here to bring you our next lesson in our unit all about the great state of New Hampshire. So let's get started. Today we are on lesson 8, which has to do with New Hampshire tourism. As we'll see in the first part of our lesson, it has a lot to do with climate as well. So let's first talk about climate. New Hampshire has 4 distinct seasons. This allows for year-round tourism and various activities. Think to yourself, can you name the 4 seasons here in New Hampshire? I bet you can. So first of all, we have hot and humid summers. Humidity means that sticky kind of heat. Some places in the world have a dry heat, but here in New Hampshire, we have humid summers. We have dry, cool falls. Great picture of foliage or the leaves changing colors here in New Hampshire. We have cold and snowy winters. And we have wet and warm springs. All things that I'm sure if you've lived here in New Hampshire for a while, you're aware of. Now let's pause here and take a closer look at the average. Oh, before we do that, sorry about that. Let's see this video about a year on planet Earth. Now this doesn't just have to do with New Hampshire. This has to do with the entire world. But what I loved about it is that this video shows the seasons changing. So even though this isn't just New Hampshire, I think we can get a lot out of it. Let's check it out. Wow, I love that video. I hope you got a lot out of it. Probably my favorite part was when the trees in the summer that were green, they started rolling the foliage over. So obviously they used a time-lapse camera to film that and then sped it up for us. Just amazing stuff. Now we're going to pause to take a closer look at average high and low temperatures all around New England. You will need to do a Google form on this, but first, let's go ahead and take a look at the graph we'll be using. It is a PDF that you can access through Google Classroom. So it looks like this. So you can see it says, use the graph below to answer the questions. The questions are going to be in Google Forms. So we have a bunch of different cities all around New England here. The name of our graph is average high temperatures of some New England cities. The y-axis, which runs up and down, has the temperature in degrees Fahrenheit. The x-axis, which runs along the bottom, has all of our cities. So we can see, according to our key, the darker color is the average temperature in January versus the lighter color is the average temperature in July. So let's move over and we'll kind of bounce back and forth between this and our Google form. As always, if you want to open your Google form and fill it out as you're watching the video, feel free. That's a great idea. So here is our Google form. So of course, we're going to put your name. So it says, which New England city has the lowest average January temperature? That's our first question. So when we look back to our graph, we want to look at the dark colors. Which city has the lowest? So which bar is the smallest? Find the city and state. Our options on our Google form are Concord, New Hampshire, Caribou, Maine, or Burlington, Vermont. Our second question is which city has the highest average July temperature? So again, if we bounce back to our graph, now we're looking at the lighter color gray. Which city has the highest bar, the one that goes closest to the top of the graph? Our three options on our Google form are Hartford, Connecticut, Bridgeport, Connecticut, or Boston, Massachusetts. Our next question on our Google form requires us to do some subtraction. So you may want to have your whiteboard and marker or paper and pencil handy. It says, what is the difference, that's subtraction, between Concord's average January and July temperature? So again, if we look at our graph, Concord, New Hampshire, our state capital right here, we have to look at the graph. What is July's average temperature? What is January's? Go all the way across, average temperature approximately. Then you're going to take the July number and subtract the January number. You may need to regroup your subtractions, so make sure you have a paper and pencil or whiteboard and marker ready. Bouncing back to our form, it says, which city has the lowest average July temperature? So again, if we're looking at our graph, we're looking for the lowest light gray bar. Which city has the lowest light gray bar? Our options are Providence, Rhode Island, Hartford, Connecticut, or Block Island, Rhode Island. Our next question is also a subtraction question. I'll go ahead and read it while we continue to look at the graph. It says, what is the difference, again, that's subtraction, between the average January temperatures in Boston and Caribou? So if we look at our graph, we need to find Boston. Here's Boston. We're looking at the dark gray. Approximately what temperature is Boston in January? And we need to subtract Caribou. So we go over to Caribou, Maine. Here it is. And we look at the dark gray again. We go all the way across to try and determine what that temperature is. We're going to take Boston and subtract Caribou. Again, may be useful to use a whiteboard and marker or a paper and pencil, as the subtraction could require regrouping. Our next question, which city has the largest difference between its January and July temperatures? We have three options here. We have Boston, Massachusetts, Hartford, Connecticut, or Portland, Maine. So when we're looking at our graph, we're looking for which one has the biggest difference between the dark gray January, and the light gray, July? Would that be Boston, Massachusetts, Hartford, Connecticut, or Portland, Maine? And our last question says, which city has the smallest difference between its average January and July temperatures? Block Island, Rhode Island, Burlington, Vermont, or Concord, New Hampshire? So again, when we look at our graph, which one has the smallest difference between the dark gray bar, which is January, and the light gray bar, which is July? As always, if you have any questions, feel free to check in with your teacher. We are here to help. Next time we're together, we'll look at New Hampshire tourism and add some more information to our New Hampshire ABC slideshow. All right, fourth graders, that's all for today. I'll see you next time. Bye.